chairman of the commission. The decision was made after due consultation with his family, legal team, and political allies. Shortly after, another statement was released by Mr. Ohairi that the former governor has left the EFCC office as he was not interrogated by the officials who told him he could leave. He was accompanied to the commission by the governor of Kogi State, Usman Ododo. Reacting to this, head of media and publicity of the EFCC says Mr. Bello is not in their holding facility. Mr. Bello is facing a 19-count charge of money laundering to the tune of 80 billion naira. Since the commencement of the case against him in April 2024 at the Federal High Court Abuja, the former governor has been absent from court to take his plea. This would be the first time that he is making an appearance at the EFCC office since the commencement of the matter. Celestina Iria, TVC News, Abuja.
Senator Aisha Bani of the All Progressives Congress in Adamawa State is supporting party members with fertilizers and cash for this year's farming season, flagging of the distribution exercise in Yola, the Adamawa State capital. Senator Bani says she believes the gesture will go a long way in boosting food security. Senior reporter Wolabi Adenisi found in this report.
Since her return to Adamawa State a few days ago, Senator Aisha has embarked on humanitarian services. She is reaching out to her party supporters and delegates who stood by her in the last governorship election with fertilizers and cash.
Wherever and solicited for your support, and you have promised me that inshallah, Mama, we are going to give you our votes. It was one vote, but an active vote. And you people had that confidence in me to give me those your singular votes which have made me, which have turned me into a candidate of APC during the 2023 election. Delegate, I have no words to express my happiness. I have no words to say thank you. I have no words to appreciate you.
She explains that the gesture is her token of appreciation to the party loyalist.
I have a strong feeling that inshallah, God will not leave us just like that. We have fought our battles and we have left the rest to Him. I thank you for coming because the information was just sent out yesterday and everybody is here. So that is to show that we are still together.
Shortly after the distribution, the beneficiaries have this to say.
It's a lesson to all our politicians, not only in Adamawa State but in Nigeria, what Senator Aisha Bani is doing to touch the life of the people at the grassroots is something that politicians should learn from.
It is not only during election that a politician is supposed to come for the masses. Even if it's after election, politicians are supposed to be coming in touch like the way she did all this while.
The Independent National Electoral Commission is yet to release the election timetable for 2027 general election. But political pundits in Adamawa State are of the view that Senator Aisha Bani's body language shows that she would be contesting for the highest seat in the state.
As political parties wrap up campaigns ahead of Saturday's election, the Labour Party held its mega campaign rally in Bani City as it pushes to win the governorship election in Edo State, supported by top party officials, including the party's 2023 presidential candidate, Peter Obi, and its vice, Dati Baba Ahmed. The party has asked its followers to come out en masse to vote. Governorship candidate Labour Party Olumide Apata wants his supporters to use their votes to chase the PDP out of government house.
The prayer of every papa and mama and say keep better pass am, not be so. How pikin dey take better? Not be to go school, not be to see hospital when they no well. Labour Party na for papa, mama, pikin. Anything when concern papa, mama, pikin, we dey there.
Let's take a short break, and when we return, it will be time to speak with His Excellency Governor Dauda Lawal, the governor of Zamfara State. Tonight, we shall be discussing the state of insecurity, the potential and the future of Zamfara State. Stay with us, everyone. Welcome back, everyone. Zamfara State, one of the states in the northwest of Nigeria, has been bedeviled by in-season security challenges, including banditry, terrorism, and the likes. But since his assumption as executive governor last year, Governor Dauda Lawal has been on the saddle to turn around the fortunes of the citizens of the state. But how is the governor doing this amidst all the staggering challenges? After more than a year in office, how far has the governor gone in curbing the menace of insecurity, as well as bringing economic stability in the state, which will in turn bring hope for a brighter future for citizens of Zamfara State? For this and more, I am joined by the governor of Zamfara State, Dauda Lawal, who joins me from our Abuja studios. Good evening to you, Your Excellency. Thank you so much for coming on Politics Tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alhaji Moki.
Right, so I think I should start with the major success recorded in the area of security, the death of Halilu Sububu. They say he was more than just a bandit kingpin in northwestern Nigeria. And considering what you've been going through as far as banditry is concerned, what does this mean to you?
Well, let me start by acknowledging the fact that Zamfara State for the past 13 years has been facing these security challenges. It is something that we inherited when we took over. However, part of my number one priority has always been tackling insecurity in the state, because without which there will be no meaningful development. And the first thing we did was to take this thing very, very holistic by engaging all the stakeholders in the state at the local level as well as the state level. And that was one of the reasons why we had to introduce what we call the CPG, that is the Community Protection Guard, which will complement the effort of the conventional security in fighting banditry. And that has really gone a long way in taking care of some of the challenges the state is facing. Now, back to the successes recorded. About 3 days ago, one of the major kingpin called Halilu Sububu was killed by both the military as well as the conventional, as well as the CPG in collaboration. And that has been a major, major success for us. And we're extremely happy because Sububu is one of the leading kingpin in Zamfara State that has large followers as well as a very wide network in terms of sourcing weapons. And I can say that it's a happy moment for all of us, not just in Zamfara, but the entire northern Nigeria, as well as Nigeria as a whole. So it was a good one. And more are coming.
But one of the major questions that has been raised in the last few days is, will his death reduce rural banditry in the region? I mean, just like you said, this is someone, his influence and pivotal role as a significant gun runner made him one of the most formidable bandits in the region.
Well, like I said, Halilu was a major, major player in that region. And he has large followers. Even the likes of Turji that has been making noise all over is actually under Halilu Sububu. And now Halilu is gone. Turji will be the one to follow. And I believe it's just a matter of time. Turji will also be killed very, very soon. And I'm confident with the way things are going and with the commitment of the security forces, I think it's just a matter of time. Turji will be history as well.
Right. The Chief of Defense Staff was in Zamfara State. I want you to talk to us about the impact of that visit to your state, especially now that there is a change of in the defense headquarters-led operations in the state.
We were really excited when the Chief of Defense Staff visited Zamfara on Friday. And that shows the level of commitment by the military in terms of fighting this menace that has been a major challenge for Zamfara as well as the entire northern Nigeria. It was a morale booster for all of us. And that has really shown that there's now a very good synergy between the state as well as the federal government in terms of fighting banditry. We are all in it together. And therefore, it was a good thing that he visited Zamfara because that has boosted the morale of the people and the entire Northwest as a whole.
So would you say your meetings with Mr. President early in the year on the security situation in Zamfara State is yielding the desired result?
Absolutely. I remember when I met Mr. President and explained all the situation the Zamfara State is facing, and he made commitment to the fact that something drastic will be done. And I'm happy to say that we're happy with the latest development. He has made that commitment, and that commitment is yielding results in terms of fighting banditry in Zamfara State. So it was a good one.
Your Excellency, I'm sure Nigerians are happy to hear that you have a different perspective about the military, because for a while there's been this back and forth between your government and the military. You had alleged that they lacked the coordination and political will to bring down these terrible individuals. And in response, they say you're being unjustly critical of them. So I'm happy with this relationship. It only speaks to how better synergy, collaborative efforts between federal and local authorities can do magic, especially in securing the lives and properties of citizens. But let's talk about your own personal efforts, because some stakeholders from Zamfara State have blamed your administration and your predecessor of patronage and politicization of the situation. Your government came up with the formation of the state's community protection guards, and recently you just handed over operational patrol vehicles to the police to enhance your response to distressed calls. How far has this initiative gone in finding community-driven ways to address these security challenges?
Oh, very good. Initially, when there was not that kind of synergy between the state and the federal government, I came out and complained, and I made it very, very public to everybody. But right after that, things have changed. There's a new dimension to the whole situation right now, whereby the synergy between the state and the federal government is working very, very well. And I believe this is part of the success story why we're able now to get to a certain level in terms of fighting this insecurity. Now, of course, I had to complain as a governor when there was a kind of, issues between the state and the federal government, where certain negotiations were taking place without my consent. And I felt it shouldn't be the case. And I complained. And after that complaint, now we all came together as one. And like I said, it's yielding result. Very, very effective result for that matter. And let me say this. Yes, there were a lot of issues in the past with my predecessor. In fact, let me say this very categorical. If I were him, I would resign and face all the allegations against me. And that would have been more honorable, because from all the information we're getting, my predecessor was fully involved in some of these banditry issues. Typical is the fact that there was a permanent secretary when his children were abducted. And it was unfortunate that he had to pay ransom through the government house. And it was also very clear, based on all the allegations, that bandits were being kept at government house. There are so many issues. So for me, honestly, if I were him, I'll step aside and face this allegation until I clear my name before I come back and continue my job. That should have been more honorable. And how can you imagine all these allegations against him? And he's still the Minister of Defense. I mean, that is unfair. This man could have been honorable, stay aside, face all these allegations, clear his name, and then come back and continue to do whatever he wants to do. Whether he wants to remain as minister or he wants to do something else, that would have been more honorable as far as I'm concerned. If I'm in that position, believe me, I'll put in my resignation letter.
Well, Your Excellency, he has not been nailed by the EFCC, so why do you think he should have been probed before taking up the appointment?
In May last year, 2023, there was this allegation of misappropriating over 70 billion naira. And when we took over, we realized that that 70 billion was a child's play compared to what we have. And all this information are before the EFCC. And I wonder how this guy was cleared by the security operatives before he's confirmed as a minister. And the same thing I will say, if I were him, I will still face EFCC to say that, look, let me clear my name. You know, this is a father of 41 children. For goodness sake, what kind of legacy is he going to leave for his children when you're being accused of misappropriating this amount of money? So he should have come out clean, face EFCC, clear his name, and then come back and continue to do whatever he wants to do. Honestly, that would have been more honorable. But look at it. We're still waiting to hear from EFCC. The case has been ongoing for over a year now. And this is people's money. We need this money in Zamfara with all the challenges we're facing, with financial constraints. At least let's have some of this money back into Zamfara so that we can work for the people of Zamfara State.
You know, a lot of Nigerians are monitoring that. A lot of Nigerians are monitoring that case, and we'll see what the EFCC will come up with in the coming days. But let's stay on that.
I hope something will be done as quickly as possible because it's taking too long. For how long will this continue? It's over 1 year.
Your Excellency, you know, I would like you to react to some allegations that have been raised against you on this particular program, because about 4 months ago, former Commissioner for Information, Ibrahim Dosara, was here on Politics Tonight. He said to me that you're an absent governor, and that is one of the major reasons banditry in Zamfara State will continue to escalate, because you're not always in the country to take charge. He also alleged that you're fighting banditry as a one-man show, because former governor of the state, who is now Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawale, had offered to help you in all forms, but you have rejected his offer. So how do you react to this? Is there an element of truth in what he said?
Alhaji Mokie, let me make also a very categorical statement here. In Nigeria today, if there's any governor that stays in his state, Dauda Lawal is one of those governors. I spend all the time in Gusau City. Your correspondent can confirm that. I only come to Abuja when there's a need for me to come here. That is number one. Number two, this is a state that is facing too many challenges, ranging from infrastructure, healthcare service, education. Where would I get all this money to be able to take care of the people and bring out development for the people? Most times, I have to travel. Now, with the state of insecurity in the state, it is extremely difficult for anybody to drive 7 hours from Abuja to go to Gusau and attend to me. I am the one that is looking for help, and I need to be out there. Dosara is one of those guys that I don't even really have time to discuss him because he's not at my level. I'd rather speak with his principal, Matole, and I challenge Matole. I'm ready to come any day, any time to have one-on-one conversation on the issues facing Zamfara State. That would have been much better. But I can't bring myself solo and be discussing about somebody like Dosara, who was the Commissioner of Information under Matawale. They wanted me to really stay home, not be able to do, after squandering all the resources of the state. Look, Alhaji Mokie, by the time we did all our analysis, we realized more than 250 billion is missing in Zamfara State. And these guys have the audacity to go to court to say that they cannot be charged. If there's anything, if you know your claim, why would you go to your court and say that you cannot be investigated? I mean, it's crazy. It's only in Nigeria that such things happen. And they were able to get even injunction to say that their administration should not be problem. How can you do that? I mean, if you don't have anything to fear, please come and face it. Come and answer the questions. So forget about those, Sarah.
Your Excellency,
I'd rather have his principal to come here. Yes.
Since you became governor, has Bello Matawale offered to assist you in this fight against banditry in whatever form?
somebody who has been accused of involved in banditry activity, what kind of help is he going to bring to Zamfara State? What value is he going to add to Zamfara State? I'm dealing with the Minister of Defense, that is Badaro. I'm dealing with the National Security Advisor, as well as the President. So who's Matawale in that regards?
All right. Governor Lawal, let's take a break, and when we come back, we will continue this conversation. Please stay with us, everyone.
The men where don't they help and don't people they come sing. Now who will be the men where don't they contribute to development for Edo State for long? Well. Oh, make I hear una clear. I say now who will be the man where get the mind and strong desire to make Edo great again? These now their 5-point agenda. 1. Surplus food and water. 2. Open education. 3. Better healthcare with small money. 4. Better road. 5. Security. Now then be the men where get the liver and strong heart. When no they talk too much, but they do more. Edo, make we come out come September 21, 2024 and vote Senator Monday Okpewolu and Right Honorable Dennis Idahosa for Governor and Deputy Governor of Edo State. Vote APC. Progress.
Welcome back to Politics Tonight, everyone. Executive Governor of Zamfara State, Dr. Dauda Lawal, is on the program with me tonight as we focus on the state of insecurity in Zamfara State, the potential and the future of the Northwest states. Your Excellency, thanks a lot for staying with us on the program. Now let's move on with this conversation. And I would like you to help us make sense of this narrative out there. The narrative out there is one of the reasons it's looked like Governor Dauda Lawal and his predecessor, Bello Matawale, cannot agree, or the relationship is not rosy, is because Governor Lawal is being forced to negotiate with bandits. But you're insisting that these guys must be crushed. Also, I've heard you complain that negotiations with bandits are going on behind you, but you have refused to tell Nigerians who is doing this. So when a document surfaced online indicating that the government had been relating with these bandits through the back door, Nigerians were surprised and confused. So tell us tonight, what exactly happened? Were you overwhelmed?
Alajimoke, my stand from day one has been no negotiation with any bandit, and I still stand on that. I have never mixed words in terms of my position as far as banditry in Zamfara State is concerned. Now, looking at that memo, I'll be so stupid at my level to sit down and write such kind of memo. I think I'm way more than that. If you look at the memo, and I keep saying, look at the content of the memo. It says Northwest Governors Security Summit. That was the heading. The background says payment to bandits. And they listed all the bandits in Zamfara State. Then the second part of it was for journalists. And all those journalists are the ones that are having some kind of shady relationship with Matawale, and they are all listed. If you go to the date the memo was approved, it was 2nd of September 2024, and that was my birthday. And I remember clearly, on that day, I was at council meeting. I did not sign a single memo. Secondly, when you look at even the name of the SSG, it was spelled wrongly, and that wasn't the way the SSG signed his memo. If you look at the address under the heading, Honorable Commissioner of Finance, I have never written any memo in that regard. And I challenge anybody to go to Ministry of Finance and look at all the memos that I have approved. If there was one that I've addressed my commissioner as HC finance. I'll pay 20 million naira to whoever can bring any memo that I address my honorable commissioner that way. And why is it that all the people that were listed on that memo are people that are saying the truth about Matawale? You know, they're not even smart. But the good thing is, with roll of technology, we're able to establish where that memo came from. And we've already initiated a legal action against that person. And very soon, we will make it public.
Governor Lawal, where did that memo come from?
Well, you know, like I said, we initiated a legal, against the person, because technology is so easy. It makes life so easy. You can verify every information. And we're able to do that. And we've taken legal action against that person. I don't want to preempt anything, and I don't want to mention names. But what I'm confirming to you is we are on it. And we must bring those people to book. This will serve as a deterrent against future occurrence of such memos. So for me, my stand has always been very clear: no negotiation with bandits. When I complained, it was true, because in everything we do, we have evidence. We don't just come out and say things. We have documentary evidence when people were negotiating behind our doors. And we made it very, very public. And since that time, it has stopped. And there's more peace in Zamfara State now. How can you imagine, as a governor, the chief security officer of the state, you're negotiating with bandits? What are you telling them when I'm not aware? It doesn't make sense. Look, we need to be straightforward in everything we do. You know, we don't take some of these things. You know, you're dealing with human lives, for goodness sake. How would you feel as a governor? Every day people are being killed, innocent people, for nothing. I mean, it's unfair. And you still want to negotiate with these people. Give them money. Yes.
Do you agree that the people should take up arms and defend themselves?
No. If we do that, that means a total failure of the system. And I don't think will be fair to our security forces. What I believe is the security forces have the ability to crush any bandit. That is their constitutional role. So I don't believe in everybody taking arms, because it will turn to anarchy. I believe we have the capacity to deal with these guys. And the political will. Once the political will is there, it's just a matter of time. You have seen what happened within the last 1 week. The kind of successes they are recording. That is the political will. And that's what we're talking about. Let it be sustained. If we're able to sustain this, believe me, within the next 1 month, banditry will be history in northern Nigeria, in Zamfara, and Nigeria as a whole.
All right. Your Excellency, let's move away from insecurity. And let me commiserate with you over the recent boat accidents in Gombe local government area. Please accept my sincere condolences.
Thank you very much.
You've described that accident as a monumental disaster. Do you blame this on weak safety standards and regulations in the states?
You know, there are so many things we take for granted in our communities. What we need to do is to intensify the awareness in terms of the do's and don'ts. That is the only way you can stop some of these things happening, because, you know, it was a very tragic incident, losing over 40 people for somebody's negligence. So what we need to do is to intensify some of these communication, information in terms of, you know, taking things very, very seriously, so that we can prevent future occurrence of such tragedy. And thank you very much for empathizing with us. We appreciate it.
Right, but if you look at the recurring decimals, I want you to be very specific tonight. I mean, if you look at them critically, from overcrowding to the use of faulty vessels and inadequate safety measures, most times the causes of these accidents are well documented but poorly addressed. And what is most disheartening is the complacency that surrounds these disasters. So how do you intend to address the root causes so there will be an established, robust technical and operational standard? I mean, create safer systems, reduce fatalities, and minimize risk.
What we did as responsible government is to send a set of engineers as well as people from NEMA and ZEMA to understand the root causes of the problem so as to profile solution going forward. And I believe the results should be out within the next 2 days so that we'll be able to really look at what went wrong, and then we can guard against future occurrence of such issues. And I think that is the way forward.
All right. So I want you to talk to us about the remarkable achievements recorded in the last 1 year in regards to your administration's rescue mission agenda.
Thank you very much for that. Let me just give you a brief history of what we inherited as a state. We inherited a very, very empty treasury with a backlog of 4 months' salaries of Zamfara State workers. We're able to settle that. We're able to settle 1.3 billion NACO. We're able to settle 1.6 billion WAEC. We're able to settle 1.6 billion KETCO, because when we took over, almost all the ministries, including Government House, were disconnected from electricity. For 5 to 9 months, there was no single drop of water in the capital. And we're able to solve that in just 5 days after assuming office. You're aware also, since 2011, we have not paid pension and gratuity to the tune of 13.6 billion. Guess what? We have already cleared about 9 billion as at today. The remaining balance will be paid within the next couple of months. Now, if you look at education also, the structures in place what we inherited was in a bad stage. The same thing healthcare. No single hospital that was operational at the time. In fact, it was an ISO. We're able to fix so far about 6 hospitals across the local government and fully equipped with modern technology. We are building and rebuilding primary school over 350 as we speak. The same thing secondary school. We are remodeling more than 350 secondary school fully equipped with all the furniture and everything. You know, because if you look at the history of Zamfara State, we've always been at the bottom, just like that letter Z, but we're trying to change the narrative. And I'm happy we're doing that. And guess what? We're doing this with the meager resources that we're getting from FAC allocation. What we're able to do also is to block all the leakages. Prior to this, our IGR in Zamfara State was just under 90 million. And that 90 million, 90% was payee. We're able now to move our IGR from 90 million to at least 1.2 billion. And it's increasing on a month-by-month basis. If you travel in Zamfara State, the state capital, you cannot move 200 meters on a good road. Go to Zamfara now and see what is happening. Your correspondent were there, and we always do these things live so that there won't be any stories here and there, because politicians are fond of manipulating things. But we normally cover these things live. Go and see what is happening now in Zamfara State in terms of urban renewal. So these are things we're doing. Also, when I took over, the minimum wage in Zamfara State was just 7,000. You can imagine somebody earning 7,000 a month. We had to quickly do what we had to do to jack up to at least the previous minimum wage of 30,000. And on a monthly basis, from the very day we took over, on the 25th of every month, we pay our salaries. We pay them bonuses. We pay them 13-month salaries. And things are working. We're employing people. There's a lot of economic activities now within the state. So things are really picking up, and people are not complaining. So we'll get there gradually. Remember, we inherited an empty treasury. But I can say that now we are financially stable, and we're taking care of all our obligations. We have not borrowed a dime up till today. We are using the same resources for the development of our people. That is what we are doing.
Your Excellency, I'm sure the next question anyone would ask is, how did you do it? How have you been able to achieve all of this in 1 year?
Proper financial management, accountability. That is the way. Process in place. We now put process in place. In fact, that's one reason why when I saw that memo, the question I asked, where would that money come from? In every memo, there must be a word of charge where that money will clearly explain the account details so that you don't go and approve something that you cannot even find the money. And I challenge anybody to show me where that money was deducted from Zamfara State government. So it's just proper discipline, accountability, proper financial management. When we took over, we had 52 permanent secretaries. We had 48 commissioners. For goodness sake, even the federal government did not have that number of permanent secretaries. So we had to trim down everything so that at least the cost has reduced drastically. So right now, there's proper accountability. All the leakages of stealing money here and there, we block that. And we're okay. We're doing well. And I'm sure we'll continue to do well and make Zamfara a better society that can compete anywhere or with any state in Nigeria. That is the way forward. That is our rescue mission.
All right, Governor Lawal, let's go back to October 2023 when unidentified assailants stormed a mining community and kidnapped up to 50 local nationals in Bagega. What is the administration doing to check the repeat of that incident? What measures are on ground to protect the safety and well-being of the people?
Mining in Zamfara State, especially illegal mining and artisanal mining, there was no proper communication to the people in terms of what kind of tools should be used in doing these mining activities. And I remember there was a ban since 2018 by the federal government in terms of mining because of the correlation between mining and insecurity. And when I came on board also, I had to issue an executive order banning consent letters by our traditional rulers to people that are mining in Zamfara. What we're trying to do now is to make it formal. Look, Zamfara is blessed. In this country, Zamfara State has the highest mineral deposit. Name it gold, lithium, copper. It's there. But what is the advantage of all this to a common man in Zamfara State? The answer is nothing. Now, what we're doing now is to formalize this sector where the state government will be able to get something and also improve our internally generated revenue so that we can come back and work for the people. And that is what we're doing. That is why now we are on collaboration with the federal government in terms of what should be the process of even issuing this licensing, what would be the benefit for the state, and what will go for the federal government. That is the way. And that's the reason why now we're building the airport, because no investor will travel from Abuja or anywhere for 7 hours with the rate of insecurity to Zamfara to go and invest his money. But by the time we finish this airport, and I'm sure it will open Zamfara State so that people can fly in quickly and do what they have to do. Remember, this airport issue, 5 years ago, the initial cost of that airport was 11.3 billion. And guess what? 7.6 billion was taken. By the time we quantify the whole thing, they did not do up to 10% of their money. The money was stolen. We complained to EFCC, and we're still waiting for EFCC to get their money from the previous government.
Your Excellency, still about mining. You signed an executive order banning all forms of mining activities in the state. Is that correct?
There was a ban by federal government since 2018. What I did was to sign an executive order banning consent letter. Because what normally happened, the traditional institutions, they used to issue consent letters to minors. And there's no proper record of this. And that's why I had to issue that executive order. So no traditional ruler, under whatever condition, should issue consent letter. I want, look, as a chief executive chief executive officer of the state, I need to know who comes into Zamfara. What are they doing? Those are some of the security lapses. You don't have control over who comes into your state. Somebody will just issue a letter from here and then go to Zamfara and you just see somebody doing mining. I mean, it doesn't make sense. That is,
you know, that's why a lot of persons have asked if Bani would ever help, because it's exactly a year since the Minister of Solid Minerals Development.
We are enforcing that. In fact, we have a task force that is responsible for that.
You know, it's been Governor Lawal, you know, it's been a year since Dele Alake gave miners engaged in the illegal extraction of mineral resources in the country, gave them an ultimatum of 30 days to join notable mining cooperatives or face the full wrath of the law. So, as a state governor, you talked about records. Is there a comprehensive list of legal miners? Is there a comprehensive list of legal miners in the state? Do you think a comprehensive data would help reduce the activities of illegal miners in the state?
As we speak, Jumoke, there is no comprehensive data as far as mining is concerned, not just in Zamfara, in almost all the states in the country. And this is one of the reasons why we had to sit down with the Honorable Minister to understand and put modalities in place where there will be accountability. And that process is ongoing. We are ready to collaborate with federal government. Yeah, mining is an exclusive list. But like I said, the land belongs to Zamfara State. So it can continue to give license. If there is no synergy between the two, we will frustrate every effort. So rather than doing that, let's have a workable solution where the federal government and the state government will come together, collaborate, understand what are the process and what will be my take home from any of these companies. So that I know the ratio or the sharing formula could be 60-40, could be 50-50, as the case may be. We are ready. And I'm happy discussion is ongoing between the state and the Honorable Minister as to fine-tune the whole process so that everybody will be happy. And by the time we do that, I'm sure the data will be accurate. There'll be more money coming to states, and that will translate into development.
You know, sadly, your state is at the bottom of all indices of development. But taking another look at your commitment to system-strengthening reforms, I remember you say Zamfara State will be a reference point for new ideas, determination, accountability, and endless opportunities. How have you been able to create jobs and do something about education in this kind of situation?
Let me tell you this also. When we took over, we had multiple ministries. And what we did was to streamline all these ministries from 50-something to just about 16 ministries. That was the first step. Secondly, when we took over, there was no synergy between the nominal role and the payroll. And therefore, we had to do job audits as well as other things to make sure we have the accurate number of our workforce. And that has significantly reduced all the ghost workers. And the process is still ongoing until we make sure who is supposed to be an employee of Zamfara State government. And by the time we do that, I'm sure that will also give us a leverage to be able to understand our financial commitment, and we can now move from the 30,000 minimum wage to whatever is agreed for the current minimum wage, so that we know we're paying our people. And those are the kind of reforms we put in place. When I took over, we had more than 1,000 special assistants by the previous administration. But I will speak, we don't have up to 20 special assistants or advisors. So, you know, all these things are just wastages and leakages. It's high time we should take governance very, very serious. The essence of democracy is about development, and that is the way forward. These are the kind of reforms.
You just launched an 11.7 billion naira project to improve access to education for adolescent girls in the state. That's huge.
That was just last week, and I'm going to do more next week.
So what necessitated this move? And do you have any interventionist measures?
As a state, Zamfara State, we are at disadvantage, especially female education. And we realized that something needs to be done as quickly as possible. And it's one of the reasons why just last week we issued contract that informed building of schools, enrollment of girl child education, so that at least we can bring the ladies also, so that when you train a lady, I mean, you're training a entire society. And it's something that we have seriously advantage. And we're just trying to do a catch-up right now. That is why we're doing this. And like I said, the 11.something billion of last week, more are coming next week. And guess what? All these funds are available. We're managing our resources very, very well. We have an efficient system so far in Zamfara State, and there's accountability. And we're open to anybody to come and check what we do. That is the way forward. That is governance.
Let's talk about farming, which is the major occupation and source of food in the north. How critical is the impact of this on the populace and food security?
Prior to all this insecurity in Zamfara State used to feed more than 40% of Nigeria. The beans that I used to consume in the southwest came from Karanamoda, and that was then. So purely, Zamfara State is an agrarian economy. What we're trying to do now is to move from subsistence farming into a capital-intensive farming mechanized system. And I'm happy to say that this year, the insecurity has gone down drastically, so a lot of people are able to farm in their farmland. And I'm sure by the time we harvest, there will be more food around, not just for consumption, but as well as for commercial quantity. And that is the way forward. By the time we're able to tackle the insecurity, believe me, food security is the way forward. If you can feed yourself, I don't think there will be any issue, because all this wrangling that you hear is because people are hungry, and a hungry man is an angry man. So we must make conscious effort to make sure we use our comparative advantage, which is agriculture, as a state, to boost agricultural production so that there will be self-reliant. Our people will not just eat, but also use it for commercial purposes. And that is what we're doing in terms of agriculture. We distributed farm implements during the dry season. At the same time, we distributed fertilizer, seedlings, insecticides, new machines, that the yield will be much, much higher than the way it used to be. And all these are free, and these are assistance to local people in order to boost agricultural production in Zamfara State.
I want you to talk to us about your effort on economic revitalization and rural infrastructure. This is important because in January, you talked about plans to construct 7 kilometers of feeder road and build new markets, which will comprise 4,000 shops. Have this been actualized?
Absolutely. Everything we said is a promise, is commitment, and we make sure we deliver on our promises. We don't make empty promises. Everything that I told you that time we are doing is already in place. In fact, the feeder roads is across all the 40 local governments. While in the city, because we have a serious deficit in terms of infrastructure, and we're constructing almost all the roads in Gusau town, so that at least we look like a city, a capital city, not the village that we used to look like. That is the way forward.
Your Excellency, in talking about health, what are those policies you've put in place to modernize hospitals and primary health centers across the council areas of the state?
Because of the challenges in the health sector, On the 20th of November 2023, I declared state of emergency in the health sector. And what we're doing right now, we have done 5 hospitals that were upgraded from primary health care to secondary health care. And these hospitals are fully equipped with modern technology. We've done one in Bukuim local government in Nasarawa. We've done one in Maradin, where my predecessor came from. We've done one in Maru. In fact, it was just launched, I think, about 10 days ago. Your correspondents were there. They covered it live. We've done in Karanamoda. We've done in Safi. We are now upgrading Yarima Bakura Special Hospital into a teaching hospital. And we are bringing entirely new equipment in the hospital. So in the next 1 week, we're upgrading all the primary healthcare facilities. In fact, we have identified more than 700 primary healthcare facilities that will be fully equipped and fully upgraded. And like I said also, we have this money. So we're not just saying it, and we're not going to look for money elsewhere. The money are there. We had enough saving to take care of all these projects.
Governor Lawal, talking about money, many describe you as an accessible governor, and that has made governance easy in Zamfara State. So how are you ensuring regular salary payments, which is a major problem in some states?
From the very day we took over on the 29th of May 2023, it has been a policy. In fact, on the 25th of every month, we pay everybody, both at local government and the states. Go and check the records. We don't wait for FAC allocation before we pay salaries. So as far as salary is concerned, it's regular, and the people are happy. All their entitlements are paid. The same thing with the judiciary. When we took over, in fact, there was a backlog of 1.6 billion for the judiciary. We were able to clear that. We don't have any outstanding. So things are working. And like I said, this is proper accounting, financial management. And that is what is bringing me closer to my people. So anytime you see me in Zamfara or Gusau, it's like every day is politics.
All right. We can only wish you the very best from here. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I've been speaking with Governor Dauda Lawal, the Executive Governor of Zamfara State. Thank you so much for speaking with us tonight. And I look forward to more conversations.
I'll also invite you to come to Zamfara and see for yourself all the things that we're doing. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much.
I truly appreciate it.
All right. And thank you for watching, everyone. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But you can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode at midnight. Get in touch with us on our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and X at TVC News NG and at Olajumo KW using the hashtag Politics Tonight. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Olajumo Olatunji. I'll see you tomorrow.
Join the excitement with Betano, the premier sports betting platform in Nigeria and proud official partner of Aston Villa. Enjoy our award-winning experience with fantastic betting options, cash out, and engaging missions. Discover even more exclusive features. Join now and receive a welcome bonus of up to 200,000 naira. Betano, the game starts now.
We're live in the open market for Epic 10X Challenge. My people, today now, I will show you how the power of new Epic 10X gives your toilet a better cleaning than bleach.
Than bleach?
Yes, so.
Impossible.
Toilets have stains which bleach cannot clean effectively. But Epic is thicker and sticks better, which gives 10X better cleaning versus bleach and kills germs.
Oh, wow.
You can now see that Epic is better than bleach.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. Are you tired of spending countless hours in the